Alright, so this video is going to be really important because in this video we're going to talk about binge eating and how to stop binge eating once and for all. And in case you didn't know, this was something that I actually struggled with for quite a long period of time, and it was really brutal. So if you're going through it right now, I completely empathize with you, but the good news is we can fix it, and once we get a few little things in place, you can fix it pretty fast. Now before we get into the strategies, I just want to let you know that the Kino Bamboo Raglan t-shirts are back in stock. We released it a few days ago with 1,000, and now we're down to like 300 or so, and unfortunately one of our sizes and colors sold out, and that was the black large raglan, our most popular. But if you want to check that out and pick up some raglans, you can actually hit the link in the description. The shirt is perfectly cut to enhance your physique, hug the shoulders and chest, and drape perfectly to put your physique on effortless display. Now let's get into the actual strategies to improve, or to basically stop binge eating. Now crazy enough, right now, I just had a little Magnum ice cream bar. I had a little Magnum ice cream bar. I think it was like 230 calories or 250 calories. It was delicious, and I had one. I'm satisfied, and that's it. And that's where you want to get, to the point where, you know what, if you want to indulge, if you have a penchant for ice cream bars or, you know, chocolate or french fries, you can eat it without guilt, in moderation, and then you feel great and you continue on with your life. That's the place where you want to get to. Unfortunately, for a lot of people, they get stuck in this pattern where they eat something, you know, they eat something that they feel like they shouldn't have eaten. They feel guilty, and then hell breaks loose, and they have one ice cream bar of 230 calories, which is fine. You can fit that into your diet if you structure it properly. Turns into 3 and 4, and then they just go down this downward spiral of binge eating. And the problem with binge eating, from a fat loss standpoint, is that, you know, in one day you can do some serious damage. You can, you know, if you're not careful and if you just keep eating, I mean, you can pack on, you know, a massive surplus. It's gonna basically undo days and days and days of successful dieting if you're not careful. Because here's the problem with fat loss, is that it takes a hell of a lot longer to burn off calories than it does to eat calories. So in a very short period of time, you can eat, you know, 2,000 calories, which is more than half a pound of potential weight gain, assuming that's stacked on as a surplus. But for you to burn 2,000 calories additionally, it's not gonna happen. That's a hell of a lot. It's not gonna happen. You have to be exercising for hours and hours on end. But so here is the deal. Now, the first thing we need to realize is what causes binge eating. You see, I grew up as a kid, a teenager, never ever had binge eating. Never had binge eating. I just, you know, I would indulge, I'd have this and that, but I never got into that constant eating beyond what's necessary. It was only until I really started dieting, really started getting lean, doing low carb dieting, doing low calorie dieting, doing lots of cardio, trying to keep myself on in a really big deficit, that binge eating became a thing. You see, what happened was, I was starving myself. I was going way too low in calories, and when you do that, that's what is going to bring on the binge eating habit. You see, whenever you go too extreme, it's like, was it like Newton's law or something? You know, if one extreme action is always followed by another extreme action in the opposite direction. So if you go too extreme on dieting, it's going to cause a rebound. If you diet too hard and you push through that pain, you push that discomfort, it's going to backfire. This is what happens. This is human nature. We only have so much willpower, and as we use all that willpower to stick to our diet, to be really depleted, to be hungry, eventually that willpower is going to break, and when it breaks, it's going to be very difficult to control yourself. You see, when you diet really extreme, what happens? You cause a downpour, you cause a downregulation in leptin. And leptin is the hormone that regulates your appetite and your metabolism. So when leptin levels go down, you know, tank from dieting to extreme, then when you eat, it becomes very challenging to regulate your hunger. So you end up eating and overeating, and then, so that's the first thing that causes binge eating, is doing a diet that's way too extreme. And the second aspect to that is when you associate guilt with screwing up on your diet. So you do a diet too extreme, you break, you indulge, you have the, you know, whatever, maybe it's the ice cream bar, maybe it's some French fries, or you go a little over your diet, over your calories. Now it's the guilt, and the research is very, very clear. When you are guilty about eating something, you're gonna eat it. It's counterintuitive, but you're gonna eat a lot more. You see, they've done research studies where they had participants go to an all-you-can-eat buffet. And in one hand, and they had fed them like a lot of desserts, like donuts. And in one group, they told them, hey, you know what? Don't worry. You know, you've earned this. You deserve this. It's okay to indulge. Like, go ahead, eat whatever you want. And that group, you know, they indulged, but they did so in moderation. The other group, they told them, like, they made them feel guilty, like, hey, like this, you should not be eating this. This is like junk. Like after they had like whatever, the first donut, whatever. And so I don't know the exact specifics, but something around there. I read this a few years ago. And the group that felt guilty, they ate a lot more. Like it was like 50–60% more total calories. So you can't be feeling guilty. And that's the thing. You have to realize you're only human. And you know, it's okay. It's okay to eat what you want. You know, some days I'll go a little over my calories, and you know what? I don't feel guilty. I'm like, hey, you know what? That's fine. You know, I'm just listening to my body. If I need to go a little higher today just to stay kind of full, then I'll do that. It might slow down fat loss a little bit, but you know what? I'm still moving in the right direction. It might just take a little bit longer. That's totally fine. Some days I'll go 200 calories over if I really need to, if I feel hungry. I've learned through years and years that if I really need something, if I'm like really, really hungry, there's some things you should push through, but sometimes you should listen to your body. And if you're really hungry and it's gonna just dwell on you, and you know what, just go a little higher. Just go a little higher, because if you don't and you push through that, you're probably gonna break, and it's only gonna be worse. Then you're gonna go through that willpower, that discipline for nothing, just to break. So I'm throwing a lot at you right now. It's a lot, but just let it sink in. If you want to watch this video a couple times, that might be really, really helpful. That actually might be a really, really smart idea. So again, you know, it's important to listen to your body and not to associate guilt with going a little over your calories or eating something you don't think you should eat. In fact, you know, if you guys check out my programs, you watch a lot of my videos, you know that I tell you, like, hey, we're gonna get you on the certain amount of calories for your goal, for fat loss, recomp, muscle gain, okay? And you can eat the foods you want as long as you hit those calories. You get pretty close to your macros, your proteins, fats, and carbs. You can incorporate the foods you want. So if you want to have a 230 calorie Magnum ice cream bar every night and you fit that in, that is completely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to fit in, you know, if you like, you know, making, you know, potato wedges, then you fit in potato wedges. In fact, I actually am fond of fitting in desserts, like not every dessert, but fitting in desserts like chocolate or little ice cream bars. Because I find it's satisfying, really satisfying. A lot of foods out there that people are eating that they think are diet friendly, that they end up eating a ton of calories of. For example, almonds. Like a little handful of almonds is literally more calories than the ice cream bar I had, and the almonds aren't really gonna satisfy me if I have a sweet tooth like the ice cream bar. Well, I just ate it, and I'm like really satisfied. I'm not even thinking about food right now. So it's important to realize that. See, when I structure the dieting and I do a lot, and I build, you know, my diets, my programs for myself, I really have found the foods that really make dieting easy. It's like steaks, potatoes, lots of fruits, you know, cheese quesadillas, omelets, stuff like that, you know, whatever, breads or whatever can be fine. Stuff in that nature, you know, some chocolate almond bars. You want to eat the diet that's going to keep you really, really satisfied. And if you want to have the chocolate ice cream bar, you fit it in so there's no guilt. And that's the great thing about, you know, when you start tracking your calories, your macros within reason, or, you know, you do that for a little bit, then you start eyeballing, well, it becomes really, really effective, because now you actually know that, hey, I can have this ice cream bar and get leaner. Therefore, there's no guilt. Therefore, I'm going to stop eating once I finish it, because there's no guilt. So really, really key strategy. Now, the other thing to mention, right? The other thing to mention, which is gonna be really important, is that some foods are gonna be a lot easier for you to control than other foods. For example, I can have an ice cream bar and stop eating. I can have a chocolate almond bar or chocolate turtles and stop eating. But historically, if I get the container of ice cream and I make a bowl, I tend to make another bowl. If I have cookies and I have a few cookies, I tend to want a few more, and I tend to do that. So I found that certain foods, certain delicious foods, some are easier to stop eating than others, and some you just want more and more. So you have to figure out what those foods are for you. And maybe in the beginning it's a little bit tricky with everything, but you will get better. So I've just found that I find like an ice cream bar, or like a certain amount of chocolate, it's way easier to stop than cookies or ice creams or even cakes and stuff. That always makes me want a little more, but you know, I've gotten better. So it is a tool that, you know, it is a skill that you will sharpen with time. It is a skill that you will learn to sharpen, and it all comes down to the first few things. You know, don't go too low in calories. Don't starve yourself. You should be trying to find a diet where you actually feel satisfied almost every day as you get leaner, or within reason. If maybe there's a little bit of hunger, but overall, you know, it's something you can commit to long term. If you're really hungry, if it's really painful, it's just absolutely, it's not gonna work. Only for the short term will it ever work, and it will not work in the long term. Then, you know, find the foods and things that keep you really satisfied, and find the desserts that you can fit into your calories, but also you're good at you can stop eating on that. And you know what? Even if you do everything perfect, even if you follow all this advice, you will screw up, you know? There probably is a chance that you will binge eat, and you know what? When that happens, don't feel guilty. You know, pat yourself on the back and be like, hey, you know what? I messed up a little bit. Let me learn from this. Let me find out what happened. Why did I do this? Why did I go? What was the story I told myself? Maybe I told myself, oh, you know what? I'm stressed. Work is stressful. So then you got into this pattern. But let me try and make a note of how I can avoid doing that in the future. You know, maybe when work's stressful, I'm gonna go for a walk, or I'm gonna go meditate, or you know what? You know, maybe find some other solution. You know, or you know what, maybe when I find work stressful, I'm gonna have this food already planned that I'm gonna eat, and I'm just gonna have one of these. I'm gonna fit it in. I'm gonna allow myself to go maybe a little bit higher, but within reason. You need to find, it's really about learning from your mistakes, and that's the key in life. Whether it's getting lean, whether it's building a business, whether it's relationships, you gotta learn from your mistakes. And a lot of people don't learn from their mistakes. They just beat themselves up, oh, I'm stupid. No, hey, you made the decision. There's a reason why you did it. It's okay. Everyone's done it. I've done it probably more than anyone. You just gotta learn from it. You just gotta learn from it, and by taking away the guilt, by accepting yourself and accepting the present moment, accepting that, hey, I did go over, by doing that, what happens? The guilt is gone. Now you can actually enjoy, you know, going a little higher in calories, and because the guilt's gone, you can stop. You can stop. You see, if you don't feel guilty, you're gonna be able to stop. But if you do feel guilty, that negativity, that self-destruction is going to make you self-destruct even further. Trust me. I have a hard time even bringing my brain into this mode because it felt so long ago. I've shifted my thoughts and my patterns so much, so that feels like a completely different place. I can't even relate to being there just because it's been so long. I've divorced those mindsets, the programming and the mental thinking from that. So if you have been binge eating, just realize, hey, it's okay. It's not your fault. It's probably a few things that have led to it. Maybe it's a lot of work stress. Maybe you've been putting too much pressure on yourselves, going too low in calories, doing too much cardio, and it's backfired. You know, it's all right. So hope that was really helpful. Again, it comes down to a few things. You gotta nail the right calorie deficit. Don't go too low. Don't go too low in calories. Somewhere where you can stay somewhat satisfied, right? Fit in the foods that you love and you want to, and you can eat and enjoy within reason. Incorporate those. Some days you're gonna be really hungry, even on that modest calorie deficit. If you need to go a little bit higher, do that and accept it. Be like, this is totally fine. It's okay. Let's just put some math for you. If you're in usually a 500 calorie deficit, enough to lose a pound a week, then you want to go 200 calories higher, you're still in a deficit. You're still at a 300 calorie deficit, so your body's still getting leaner. So it's fine. It might just take a little longer. There's no rush. As long as you're making progress in the right direction, there's no rush. You will get to where you want to go. What really screws people up is when they try and be too perfect, and then they break, right? Just like you know, a tree, as the wind hits it, it naturally sways to go with the flow. If it just stayed strict and you know, it would fall over, it would break, it would weaken. So you need to kind of let yourself have that flow. Once in a while you want to go a little higher, completely fine. You have to go with the flow a little bit. Listen to your body. You don't try and be perfect. If you try and be perfect, you're gonna break. and learn from those mistakes. Learn, you know, if you go a little over, learn from it. I'm always learning from it. Find the foods and the meals you love cooking and eating and enjoying within reason. Enjoy the process, and when you do want to have that ice cream bar, don't feel guilty. Enjoy it. Enjoy your eating ice cream. Be happy. Enjoy it. What's the point of having the ice cream bar if you're gonna beat yourself up about it? And all that mental strain, it's horrible for you. All that guilt is horrible for you. Enjoy life. You know, I have a theory that, you know what, like when people eat the, you know, I eat chocolate quite consistently, actually, quite often. And I feel great. My health markers are amazing. I feel incredible. But I think that those people that eat junk, that feel guilty, I think the guilt does way more damage than a little bit of sugar. So don't feel guilty. Be active, you know, and meditate, you know, being present. You know, doing a little meditation, getting into the power of now. All this stuff has been really helpful, because then you get much more in tune with yourself, with the present moment. You get much more connected. You're not looking to feed your brain with entertainment. You're not looking to get away from the moment by distracting yourself by binging. You're in tune, and that's been really, really helpful for me. Years ago, you know, I've got this stuff dialed in for several years now, but back then it was really helpful for me. So I threw a lot of stuff at you guys. I threw a lot of stuff at you. I apologize it wasn't as streamlined as it could have been, but you know what, we'll do some follow-up. So leave your comments. I'm gonna spend a couple hours reading all the comments. We'll get some follow-up videos on this, because I think this is so helpful. And if there's one thing that I can do for you, and that's to help you, you know, get control out of your eating, you know, solve this binge eating thing, really build the body you want, because if you're binge eating, it's gonna be so much harder to get the body you want. But if you learn how to enjoy life, be able to treat yourself and get to your goal, that's where you want to be. That's where you want to be. You shouldn't have to choose between enjoying life and have six-pack abs. I keep my abs year-round pretty effortlessly. I'm getting leaner right now, and I enjoy life, you know. Last night I had steak and French fries, and it was amazing. A couple margaritas. It was fun. It was really fun. So you need to be able to enjoy life and get your body, and that's what I teach, and that's what this channel does better than anyone else. So, hope you enjoyed this. If you want to check out the bamboo stuff that we have right now, we have a lot more coming in, but right now we got the Raglans on deck. Link is in the description. It's unreal. It's the softest clothing. It's all made from bamboo. Softest and best fitting clothing you'll wear. Just make sure to pick the right size. There's a little size chart you might want to check out. I'll talk to you guys soon. No pish posh.